everyone, welcome back to the second season, third episode of the RCJC show. In this initiative, we will be calling our esteemed guests to come and have an interesting talk with us and share their thoughts. I, Rotaract Dhruv Shetty, the Chairman Avenues and the Joint Secretary of the Rotaract Club of Hind College, will be the host for this episode. So, introducing to you with our guest for this episode, they are none other than our teacher coordinators of the club, Professor Simmin Bawa and Professor Ruchi Chaturvedi. Professor Simmin Bawa is our teaching faculty, at the same time the department head for the philosophy subject, and Professor Ruchi Chaturvedi is the teaching faculty as well as the head for the psychology department. Hello ma'am, how are you guys?
Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
So basically in this show there will be two rounds. The first round is the KYG round, that is a know your guest round, and the second one is the fun or frolic round. So let's begin with the first one, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
So the first question is here, like, how do you build a relation with a new student?
Okay, Simmin, you go first.
I believe that one has to have a lot of eye contact with students. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you have to come down to the level of students, understand them. See, Dhruv, every batch is very, very different. Their needs are very different. Like the current first year batch is our Coronian batch, 2 years after that. So they are a little slow to open up and also bringing in a lot of fun element, audiovisual aids, coming down to their level, understanding even the lingo which they have. For example, all your FOMO, LOL, all of that, understanding all of that is very essential. Once we are able to tap into that, then it's not a challenge anymore, and the student himself, herself feels very, very comfortable. And the bonding in class and the interactions therefore becomes a lot of fun for the teacher, faculty as well as for the students.
Absolutely correct, absolutely. For me, I always felt that with the youngsters, you have to strike a balance by teach them the theory hardcore subject with a lot of humor, and you should appear to be very approachable and break the ice, because you will be the first person breaking the ice with the student, and it really helps.
This is going to be really useful for some new teachers who are coming up with this profession.
Absolutely.
So the second question is here, what has been your greatest struggle being a teacher, being a professor?
See, when I would say it is not being a teacher as such, for all working women, okay, the struggle is always to balance out your work commitments with your household chores. Because if you are juggling so many multiple roles, then it's always a problem. How do you manage it? That is, and with the education, the demand which is coming of education of children, especially till the school age, it is a tremendous pressure on the parents to manage their career, household chores, plus the education of the children. So I think if you are juggling multiple roles, how do you balance and the time out? And apart from that, later on, like I have grown up boys now, the biggest problem now is work-life balance. At my generation, I felt we never learnt it. So it's all work, and there is hardly any time for leisure, which I feel the time has come now to strike the right kind of balance.
I think for me, I will go back to my initial days of teaching. So I am also an alumnus of this institution. So when I came in as a faculty, I remember the security asking me for ID card because I was extremely young, and I had struggles over there to explain that I'm faculty, and he looking at me and saying, haha, right. There was one, and then after that, going to a class, and because the age gap was so little, to make them feel that there is serious business happening over here was a little challenge at the time. And then in the staff room, sitting with my own teachers as colleagues, that phase of adjustment was a little challenging for me. But of course, over a period of time, we do get into the entire group of everything.
True.
Question was very rightly answered. So the next question is that what made you apply for this post of being a professor?
Basically, because you are heading towards a job in an education field the moment you do PhD, first of all PG, then PhD. So basically, all the people who are taking this kind of a line, they would definitely go in a teaching line and in academics, hardcore academics. Plus, from at my end, with the type of transfers which my husband used to have, having a corporate job fixed at one place and really progressing high in corporate world, there was no question of that, So it's like again balancing his career and my career options. So teaching became, I would say, a very comfortable second option, where I felt somewhere I have sacrificed my wants and desires for a different career, so that I could handle the household and children responsibility along with my career. That's what I did.
For me, it just happened on the way. I am a professional event manager, so I've done a lot of big events, film fair, Femina, and that kind of work. And then I was supposed to leave for USA, but USA has a particular criteria where they wanted 16 years of education. I had 15 because our setup of graduation is such. And so my relatives who were going to sponsor me said, you just do masters in something. So I took a masters in philosophy, and because I did very well, I was a topper in the first year. And then everyone said, my classmates, I'm like, you've done first year, complete the second year and go. And my family back home said, great, finish it and come, we are waiting. Finished the second year. When we were in second year, all my classmates were preparing for these NET/SLET exams, which are meant to become professors, and I used to help them, I used to coach them. So then everybody told me, if you are helping us and you are so good at it, why don't you also appear for it? And the exams were just nearing. I said, okay, I'll also appear for it. Then my professor Prof from Hind called me and said, hey, you are teaching MA, we need someone, because she wanted to go on leave. So she requested me to come for a little while. Then I came here for a little while. Then I got offer from Rotary College for 1 year. I said, okay, I've done this, I'll do that also. Then I came back, and I never went back to USA.
Good for the faculty and the students of JN.
I'm kind of very happy doing this, is because I believe as a teacher, everybody thinks that we know it all. But actually in the classrooms, with the interaction with every single batch, I believe we also learn a lot.
Of course, no doubt about it.
And so there is a constant growth which is taking place. And now I will not leave this profession.
It was really great to know about the reason behind why you have opted in this field. So the next question which I would like to ask is, specifically to Ruchi ma'am, as she is related to, the subject head
Psychology.
of the psychology.
Yeah.
So there are different methods of, teaching psychology and all those practitioners. So what all methods do you adopt in, teaching psychology?
Yeah.
So that it becomes more easier for the students?
I think thanks to COVID, we were forced to learn and adapt so many different ways of teaching. So my generation, I would say, has become really tech savvy. Okay, so earlier also we used to have role plays, we used to have quizzes, then we used to organize exhibitions and your festival, which used to, and everything based on the subject. It was not something which is unrelated to psychology. So we used to explore it in different ways, and it's like students learning how to administer psychological tests, how to analyze it. Then the little more creative aspects of maybe some other alternative form of therapy which students learn and practice in their classes. Then you have small topics being given to them, and it's like 5 minutes time given, and then they have to present their perspective about it. Then for the third year students, I organize group discussions on a topic. So we at least where psychology is concerned, I feel, as it is such a dynamic and a scientific subject, there are various ways in which you can impart education in a very creative and a very novel manner. So fortunately for us, the students itself are such high caliber in JN joining for psychology, that every activity which you can dream of, which is innovative and novel, they grasp it, they are vibrating with you, and they add more to it than what you have imagined. So it's been a very satisfying experience where that is concerned.
Great to know that. And next question is to Simmin ma'am, is you have learned so many things like tarot card reading or graphology and so on. So what exactly all those things are about, and what motivated you to do those things?
So I'm a constant learner. Even when I was a college going student, I used to earn my own pocket money by learning a lot of things, chocolate making, candle making, and all of that. And I always felt that in the world there is so much to learn. Okay? even as we speak now, I have enrolled for 2 courses which are going to. So I'm a constant learner, and I believe that one has to upgrade one's skills, because I teach philosophy and we talk about karma, we talk about rebirth, reincarnation, and all these things. So my leaning towards esoteric sciences, occult, was a little more. Philosophy happens to be the mother of all sciences, and the last subject that separated from philosophy was psychology. So using a lot of therapies, understanding human mind, and also metaphysics, which is going beyond the physical world. That is what all these sciences, all these holistic practices open up. I know more than 36 different types of techniques as of today.
Oh.
Besides what I teach. and I constantly practice them also. They are a hobby, they are a way of life, and I don't think I will ever stop learning a lot of these things. Also, what happens is that whatever I learn from them, I'm able to bring it back to my classrooms. So I believe in what is called as experiential learning, and I will always encourage students also for that. So whatever I learn, and I'm a constant student of the world, of the universe, so I'm able to bring back all of this, and not just me, with all these learnings, I benefit and my students also benefit, because one has to keep oneself abreast with the changing trends in academia and even beyond that, because today students don't only want theory, they want application of theory, and a lot of these things which I learn and I also teach and I impart brings in the entire application oriented focus towards teaching and learning.
It was really great to know about your teaching styles and your knowledge towards your subjects and so on. So the next question which I would like to put forth is what has been your one of those best memories being a teacher?
I would say we are a very exam-oriented society, and where performance in academics really matters. So when it comes to the students performing at the undergraduate level, as we have very, very high achieving students, they do well in undergraduate level. When they are in the competition beyond that of the college, something like Tata Institute of Social Sciences, then they have NIMHANS, Delhi University for higher education. Those who want to go abroad, when they clear those exams and they back scholarship to go abroad and study further, even for PhD, that is a very satisfying moment for me. Currently, 3 of our students have gotten back scholarship and they're doing PhD in US. And one of them is in Michigan University. The type, one is in Illinois University. So these are the type of universities whose research we quote what the researchers in the department have done. And to think that 3 of my students are doing PhD there in that parent university, it's very, very satisfying. So when they go beyond our college and then they are proving themselves, that is a very, very satisfying.
I also agree with that. But a little more add-on would be I believe in promoting my own students. So when we have guest lecture series organized by the department, I call them. And then when I see them speak, I see them become facilitators and I see their entire growth and the perspective. And now we are no more teachers students. We are at the same level.
Correct.
I think that makes me extremely happy and I feel so fulfilled. A lot of students have started their own entrepreneur setups and all. So when I look at all of that and I see them grow, there's a lot of satisfaction that they are carrying all the values that we have imparted through our process of interaction and the education system.
Absolutely, they come as our regular resource persons for the department activities and all, which is very nice, very, very nice.
Right, it was really great to know about that student-teacher affection relation about that. The last question for this round is that how has been your experience being the teacher coordinator of the Rotaract Club of Jain College?
I would say satisfying and worrisome too. Because some of the time the activities reach a level and they consequence as the other ones which we have not predicted, because it involves a large contingent of students. So it's like we have to be extra cautious and we have to be monitoring constantly so that it starts processes and it meets the objective for which it was conducted. But in all, it's a very satisfying experience, because if you look at the multiple activities which Rotaract does, so starting from building the personality, the self-confidence and self-esteem of the RCJC members, to making them aware about society, sensitizing them about various issues which affect either the, let's say, the children, people staying in old age homes, the orphans, the people who are street dwellers. I think that sensitization and building of empathy, that is being done very, very successfully by Hind College, RCJC. And apart from that, whenever we have that movement called Cheek, then we have our Silent Saturdays and all. These are flagship programs where the impact is suddenly felt by the society, and it's taken up very, very well. So even in the matter of picking up through role play and through various activities where students are going and performing, even in P2 airport we have performed, which is dealing with issues like human trafficking and all. We have a great reach. And year after year, batch after batch, RCJC is able to fulfill all those objectives. So very amazing, very satisfying. Only thing is that monitoring that what objective we started, we should achieve and stick to that. That has to be done.
And you know, continuing with what Mama said, she has made all the points very clear, is especially when some of our very, very noble work gets featured by the media, like Cheek had a solid impact.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we had so many people messaging us, congratulating us, and you know, on the Nari Mukti Divas, when students perform street, it is so heartening the kind of impact that they have in society, and the very fact that they are just students, and it gives them so much of confidence, and somewhere they feel good about themselves being associated with social work at such a young age. Lot of people fulfill all these wishes for a time that is much later in life, whereas these students start very early. So, you know, sowing all those seeds of being sensitive towards society, I'm sure will take them to a great aspect in life. But overall, you know, seeing them grow and the kind of popularity that we get, including media coverage, it's such a proud moment for both of us. Yeah. We feel extremely happy.
It even makes me happy to know about your experience with RCJC. So with this, the round 1 comes to an end. Now let's begin with the second round, that is the fun and frolic round.
Okay. Of course.
So the first question is that what would you prefer, online teaching or offline teaching?
Offline teaching forever and ever.
I would say hybrid. I would go for hybrid, because according to me, coming out of the house on 6 days out of 7 days, it's a waste of time, effort, energy, putting too much of pollution and traffic unnecessarily on road. So it should ideally be something like 4 days offline and 2 days could be online. You know, where on different days it's juggled in such a manner that we are decongesting the roads and it is more friendly towards nature too. So I would say definitely hybrid.
So like Delhi traffic,
Like
odd days, even days.
Odd days, even days. Yes,
True that. So like, what comes to your mind when you hear the word friendship?
Simmin.
Ruchi. We have been such close friends for so many years
and
now.
best of friends, only 13 years apart.
And,
in age.
and I must tell Dhruv, you also about it. That is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
So I was doing my past life regression therapist certification course, and during the course we had to present a lot of case studies. So the entire group was taking each other's help and taking them through the process of hypnosis, clinical hypnosis, going back to the past life, coming up with a case study. In my case, every past life I saw, Ruchi was there. Okay, of course the gender is different and it looks and all of it, and after about 13-14 past lives, with every past life she was always there. So the facilitator, she came and then she in that state said, okay, how many lives have Ruchi and Simmin been together? So we were told that we've been together for 92 past lives. This is our 93rd birth together. So we have been soul friends, soul mates and whatever. and we have always been so close to each other.
So one thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word RCJC.
Vibrancy.
Totally.
Okay. One thing that comes to mind when you hear the word Hind College.
I would say freedom of expression. It will be 3 words, but if you keep it one, I would just say freedom. Because to express yourself in whichever way, whether it's the dressing sense, eating, the way you want to interact, the way you want to be as an individual, that freedom is offered by your college.
True.
And people are not judgmental here. It's like they'll let you be the way you are. That is something which is amazing of a college.
And for me, the first thing when people would say Hind College, alumnus. Before I say professor, because a large part of my personality got molded as a student of Hind.
And she was a very active Rotaract
Very
member.
active.
Oh, she and her sister.
I was a topper also, so academically also I have had a great balance between campus life and classroom life.
Correct.
It's really great to know about that. And one more question is that what kind of students were you, during your college life?
Oh, I was little too studious, little too sincere, and little too hardworking, because I was in Delhi University where the syllabus and everything is very rigorous, and I was also one of the topper material in DU. But I always tell my students now that learn how to unwind from academics also, and learn to enjoy also other activities which are being done in college, because I never did it. I was just focused on UPSC, which I never gave the exam eventually because of my marriage and my children coming home. But because of that orientation, I used to never attend any social activities of the college or inter college activities, which I feel is a very important part of your college days for growing up. And I felt that I missed it. So I always tell my students, if I find them very serious and then, ma'am, I want to do forensic mein MA karna, I said, just wait. I said, just do what you're doing now and find time to enjoy your college life too. Campus life never comes back. So I felt I had missed on a lot because of being too studious and too focused on my UPSC exam and all that kind of thing.
The best years of my life have been the 5 years that I've been a student of Hind College, and it is because somewhere in school I was made to study certain things because it was compulsory. Here one makes a choice about the subjects that they choose. So I think that the subject choices I made suited me very well. I had a complete balance between academic life as well as the campus life. So I was a part of Hobby Center, magazine committee, Gymkhana, Rotaract, so many bodies. So the personality growth which takes place besides the academic growth, I had the best of both worlds. I have had a very fulfilled life where I had friends and I had classmates and I had a superb rapport with my teachers as well, because they knew I was a very sincere student. So it's fulfillment end to end for me.
It was really great to know about your experience of being a student. So the next question is like, if you hadn't been a teacher, then what profession would you have pursued?
I would have definitely been a civil servant, a bureaucrat. There's no doubt about it. And instead of being in the IAS, I wanted to be an IPS officer. So my role model was Kiran Bedi, and I have uncles who are, and of course cousins also, who are bureaucrats through UPSC. So that was my main goal in life. But somehow the fate turned me towards Hind College and teaching. So that would have been my first choice.
In my case, I think I have already lived out all those options because I was, as I mentioned, a professional event manager. So maybe I would have just continued with that. Or I have a parallel career in holistic sciences as a holistic healer. So I think I would have focused more on those lines. And if nothing would have worked out, I would have sold jewelry. So entrepreneur skills is something which I think I would have honed.
So it was really great, and just like one last task, like would you be able to imitate Simmin Ma'am, and Simmin Ma'am, would you be able to imitate
Too, so I doubt it. And I cannot go down 13 years in my life. She cannot bridge that 13 years up in our life. So the way we are very, very happy. The only thing which I can say which ties up together is the fact that we are very friendly and very I would say hands-on type of teachers, where we gel very well with our students. So even I'm being quite immodest when I say that. So when it comes to bringing about a great energy, positive energy in the class, so that students just start relating to it, I said that is a front which I think we both of us really have in common where students are concerned. And then another thing which I felt was any new activity, anything which is innovative, we just jump on the idea. Like she says, entrepreneurs, we are all for variety, creativity, and new set of things which we can bring to Jai Hind College. So I think that is there are these two things which really are very, very common to both of us. But apart from that, I would say we cannot imitate each other. We respect each other's space.
And year after year, we have organized so many events together.
No doubt.
So we have the best of everything.
Yes,
colleagues,
totally.
friends. on
And fortunately
campus.
for us, a lot of psychology students take philosophy and vice versa. So that is also good for us.
Okay, so with this question, the round 2 comes to an end. Thank you so much, Simmin ma'am, Ruchi ma'am, for being our guest for the 3rd episode of the RCJC show. It was really great to know about your experiences being a Jai Hindite, also being a teacher coordinator of the Rotaract Club of Jai Hind College. So thanking you
much,
once
Dhruv.
again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've conducted very well, like a
Yes.
professional
Yes.
professional anchor.
And what would be your feedback for our RCJC
I would
show?
say continue the good initiatives which you have taken. Add on more CSR activities. You can tell them something more.
Yeah, we would really like you all to adopt a village. And
Yeah.
that's something which has been our dream for a very long time.
We have the contingent, we have the numbers. It's like really going at that rural level and creating impact regarding upliftment of the people there is something which we really need to have in our kitty of Jai Hind RCJC. We really need to do
And
that.
your silent Saturdays must go on. But
Even
not,
flash mobs,
yeah,
oh my
flash
god.
mobs, and
Any-
some more, small documentaries, films
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
these kinds of
We've
themes.
had that. It's been in
Yeah.
PVRs and all our
Yes.
documentaries.
So
have been
something
shown earlier.
more now, and the work on gender sensitization that has to go on.
Has to. Absolutely.
For sure, we will be working on these areas for the development of the society as well as of Club College. Thanking you once again for being on the show. It was a privilege.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Dhruv.
thank
Our
you.
pleasure,
Yeah.
and all the best to
Best
RCJC
wishes.
Jai Hind College.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching the video. Like, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Stay tuned for the 4th episode. Thank you.